Okay, hello. Welcome back to the grind. Anybody new? Hello. Welcome back to the grind. Welcome to the grind. Anyway, here I am. This is my 2000, no, what is it? A 1976 BMW 2002. Now, for most of this week, or this time, I was working on getting the motor back together. Sadly, I had the wrong main bearings, the oversized main bearings. So they wouldn't work. And also, sadly, I had the wrong rings. I don't know how I did that, but they both arrived wrong. So I've ordered the new parts to come, and hopefully the right ones come this time. Spent quite a bit of time getting the head all back together, valves grinded, and it's all back together and looking good. Adjusted the valves and checked the lift, and the lift on the valves is like it's supposed to be 0.027 or 2.7 millimeters, and it's 3.4 millimeters or something like that. Anyhow, I don't know why, but that's the way it is. And but it seemed it was running all right with that camshaft in it before, so it'll run again. And I made, my usual amount of mistakes to figure out what I did wrong. Had some help to put that back together. So it's coming along slowly but surely. It just takes time. So enjoy this one. Mostly about getting the head back together, and partly about wrong bits. Okay. Then, just to finish it off, I decided I'd put the hub and the brake caliper back together, seeing as I had the pieces, and that gets that out of the way. So it's got 4 wheels again, or 3 wheels. I'll get the other one done next week, and that'll be just done. So while I wait for those parts, might do some other stuff. Might be do some work on the Porsche. See you later. Yeah, drop them in there. Oh well, that's all right. Good spot for them right there. So these, I'm going to put it back together now. That's the exhaust side. I've kept them all in order. It goes right back down on there. So all of those are in there now. Now the next thing I need to do is put on new seals, valve seals, which are hopefully are in that box. I'll find out. Yeah, new seals, like they just go on every one of these things. 2 left, 1 here, and I'll keep one out to decide what size of a thing I need to. I'll get something to just reach over that shoulder and be able to pound it down. Hang on. Yeah, it looks like a 13 millimeter socket will go on, get the top. I wonder if I can get one to go right through there and get the bottom. I'll just give it a try with this and see what happens. Might have to get a different thing. I think that's on. Wacky in the nose here. Okay, now I'll just run a finger underneath each one of them. Whoops. Yeah, so they all feel about the same distance down. So I think they're all okay. Yeah, so those are on. Okay, next I'll start assembling the valves. Now, that means I have to just, hang on, I'll just put you there. Turn this over this way, right? Heard some tingling there, but that's just a thing. Okay, so now this is number 1. That's inlet side, number 1 inlet. I got a bunch of this assembly lube stuff. That should be more than enough to get on there, right? How's that look? Yeah, that came through okay. I don't feel anything untowards there. So that's this spring here. Goes on like that. And I'll get my valve thing. Hang on a minute. It's going to be a real pain to get those keepers on that, but I'll work at it. I don't know if you can see any of this. I can't. Well, there's one in. I gotta twist that around to the top, sort of. Need a little screwdriver. I'll be right back. Not looking anywhere near. I wonder. Anyhow, I'll see if I can just wrap that around to the top. Not going, but I'll get my other one and see if it'll go in. I have one of them on upside down. Damn. Thought that was happening. Oh well. You know how good I am at taking things apart again. So what I'll do is turn it this way, right there. I'll fight with it a bit. Yeah, so I've got both of them in the right way there now. I don't know. Can you see that? Is that focused down there somewhere? Don't know. Anyway, I'll let this out now and I'll show you. There, that's what it's supposed to look like. Just nicely fitting in there. Now, that's number 1 valve, number 1 inlet. So that's done. So number 2, number 1 exhaust I'll put in next. Yeah, I'm on the 3rd one now and I've got it so I'm not fumbling all over the place. Make sure that it turned down far enough. I've got this little screwdriver here which is just slightly magnetic and I can drop them into place. As soon as I get them into close to place, then this one here is non-magnetic, so I can move them around a bit. And then they drop into place and we're happy. And then I just unscrew it and maybe be in the right spot. This little valve compressor, you know, it's 100% Chinesium, but it's pretty good. It does the job. So you know, nothing's fast around here, that's for sure. Somewhere around there. So here's that one in. Okay, I'll carry on. I'll show you when I get done. You can't tell from up here, but if you look underneath here, oh, let me see. What looks wrong? See that one there? See that one there? Does that not quite look right, eh? Oh dear, I put the wrong valve on that. I put the inlet valve into the exhaust. Oh, now I have to take it out again and switch it over the other side. Yeah, so now 1, 2, they look like they're all the same height, right? Is it? Yeah. Yeah, I think they're all about the same height. So that's good. Now I'll see if I made any more mistakes. Hang on, I'll turn it over. Yeah, intake, 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 exhaust, 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 exhaust. Is that right? Yep, that's the exhaust side. Okay. Yeah, we got it. It's on. So there, that's all back together. Well, not quite, because I still have to put the camshaft in next. I'll just take a quick look at that. Yeah, so all the valves are in. Now to get the camshaft in is a little bit of a work. You got to make, I made these, oh damn, these things that will hold on to the valves and pull them over, but they're getting to the point where I've got them kind of wore. But it says to have an assistant with you to, you know, help out. But this is my assistant right here. He pulls on one, and I have to get an assistant to pull on 2 of them, and then I'll be able to maybe finagle that thing in there. It's just about there. The only thing I have to do is it has to come up a bit at that end and then push in. You just sort of work it away, and see this thing here, those ones are all loose, right? That's loose. This is tight, so this one has to be lifted. That one's loose. That one's loose. That one's loose. That one's tight. So this is catching right here at the edge, so it's got to move over a bit. Anyway, but I'll loosen them all off right now. Well, I'll let go of my assistant here. Let my assistant go. Then I'll come back tomorrow and try it again, because you don't want to rush about this. You screw something up. Okay, so just about going together. Yeah, there, so that went back together. Now I used these things here, and they just, like any of these that were tight, you just, whoops, get that in there, and that will lift the valve for you. And fortunately, some friends came over. Dave and Doug came over, Doug and Dave, and they were very helpful, because it's about a 5-man job to get this done. You need 2 people holding these up and 1 person putting the camshaft back in. I didn't get any of that on film because it just sort of happened spontaneously. And now I want to turn this over a few times. First I'll run these bolts in. Now when you put it back together, this holding plate here, it slides into I don't know if you can see that. Where's my light? Hang on. Can you see where that, right down there? No steel anywhere on this. Right down here, in there. There's a groove right here where the screwdriver is. So that's this plate here, with the bolts that aren't in there yet, slides up into that groove. But at the same time, it slides into a groove on the back side of this here, which is what holds the this rail and this rail from moving back and forth. So you got to get them all into that spot at the same time, which isn't too tough to do as long as you're aware that you have to do it. And the first time, of course, we weren't aware, so we had to pull it out a bit, redo it, put it back in. Anyway, it's done. And now I'll just get these bolts into their position. This one's a bit tight for some reason. I'm going to go carefully with a wrench on that. Then there's end play on this to measure. I'll do that later. And I want to turn, first off, I want to sort of get something on it and turn it over a bunch of times so that we, like, just to make things turn in here. And then while we're in here, I'll set the valves, because you can do that while it's in here, and I'll show you how to do that later. Okay. Yeah, so I just put a couple of bolts in there, right? Then important to make sure that this is not going to interfere with any of the valves when they open, and that's not going to interfere with any of the valves if they open. They need to have a space underneath there because the valves come farther than the head, right? And then we'll see how it turns. If it turns, let's just see. Yeah, there it goes, right? And the springs are plenty strong because it just makes them flip. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll adjust the valves to the proper size, to the proper place. Pretty easy to see where they are. This one here you can adjust. This one here I can adjust. That one I can adjust. Oh no, yeah. That one not to adjust, that one not to adjust, that one not to adjust. That one there I can likely adjust. Don't know. Get my light. Where's my light? You can see if it's on the back side of it far enough. So this one's on the back side of it far enough. That one's on the back side of it far enough. That one's on the back side of it far enough. That one, those two there I can't adjust. That one at the very back here, I think I can adjust. So I'll show you how they get done for the first couple. I'll look it up and find out what it's supposed to be. Hang on. So the valve adjustment that's 0.15, that's 0.20 millimeters, inches is 0.008, and 0.00 something there. Anyhow, so underneath here, it should just, like the 0.15 should slide in there, and the 0.20 should be like a real drag to get it in there. Anyhow, so now, can you see what I'm doing here? Let's get some light on the action here. Put my multi-tool up here because it holds the light pretty good. There. This one here I'll do. In here, this is like a cam in here. And that cam has got a little... Where's my pointy thing? There's the pointy thing. Can you see that little hole in it right there? So that little hole so happens that it fits this thing here. Not quite though, because I got to get something that'll turn it. Hang on, got to get a different tool made. So there now, I've got the 0.15 slid underneath the valve. Turns out that Allen keys are perfect for this. You just stick the Allen key in there and then you can pull it tight. So this won't move now, it's tight. 10 millimeter skinny wrench, and you tighten up the cam. That's tight. Now, this thing pulls out of there. That might be a little bit tight. Maybe I'll put that one in and make it tight, and then this will fit in loose, right? How about that? That's a better idea, isn't it? After the second time or third time, I'll get it right. So I'll put the 20 in there. I don't have anything between 20 and the other. Then I'll make that a tight fit, right? By just pulling a bit of pressure on here. Tighten up the lobe. There, that's tightened that cam up. And then this will pull out hard. That's a pretty tight fit for the 20, but the 15 will slide in there nice. So that's, I'm a happy guy with that. So 15 slides in, 20 is a tight fit. That'll be a good adjustment. Then after it runs in for a while, I'll have to do it again. Okay. Yeah, now they're all adjusted. Can you hear that little click? Those two are tight. That one's adjusted, that one's adjusted, that one's adjusted, that one's adjusted. So to tell if you have, like I went through and I did like this one, this one, this one because they were down. Then I did this one, this one, this one because they were down. And then I was wondering, how can I tell if I've done it or not? So if you've done it, the little, see the little hole for the adjuster? If you've done it, the little hole for the adjuster should be sitting around about there. And it is in every case. So we'll run it for a while and then we'll readjust the valves after it's been run for a while, but that's a good starting point there. And then what I did was eventually I figured out that, where's my little, here's my little tool, right? My tool number 5772 LK. So I put the 20 in underneath here. Then I made it, pulled it so it's tight. Then I just released it with this to lift the valve a little bit, right? And then I was able to then slide the 15 in. So here's, that one there is 20. That one's 20 and that one's 15. So the 20 won't go in, but the 15 will go in. So it's somewhere between 15 and 20. So that's good news. All right. Now, so those are adjusted. That head is basically ready to go back onto the machine. I'll spin it over a couple more times here just because. And then we'll, and I've also put a bunch of this Permatex Ultra Slick. I just poured some on each one of the risers. Now I can check and see, perhaps I'll do that. I'll check and see how much the valves are lifting. They're supposed to lift by, I don't know how much, but we'll find out. We'll just turn it over and find out. That'll be not just for interest, another thing to ignore, right? Yeah, so now, where am I? Right here. I'm going to measure the lift of the valve. I've done these ones, that one, that one, that one on the exhaust side. And it comes out to, every one of those 3 times round, so that's 340 thousandths, 340 thousandths of an inch, 0.340 of an inch, right? Now, I'll do this, I'll just count the revolutions around. Should be 3 revolutions around. There, it's starting to lift, right? 1, 2. Oh yeah, well that must have been 3, right? That one's less than 40. That one's 335, 336. Maybe I'll do it again because maybe I got it wrong there. Let that down all the way. Seated, right? That should be, yeah, that's on 0 there. So 3 of them were these ones, 340, 340, 340. Then that's turning around once, twice, 3 times round, right? Then it goes to 338. So that's 2.0002 different than the rest of them, but yeah, that's, it starts going back down the other way again, right? So 338 on that one. Yeah, so 0.340 and then 338 on that one. I'll measure the inlets and intakes and see what happens there. Yeah, so now I went through them all, right? Up here and up here. Then, here's my results. Oh dear. So, all the exhausts are 0.340, except for number 4, which is 0.338, which is, that's okay. Then the inlets are 345, 346, 253, and 340. But then I sat down and thought about that for a while. How come? Look, there's how come. Didn't get adjusted properly. So some of the differences are just in the adjustment on the valves here. So now, I guess to really measure valve lift, you have to do it on this part here, but there's no metal to. So, anyway, I'll get that adjusted properly, then try it again, right? Let's see if this comes out any better this time. Count the revolutions, right? That's starting at 0 or minus 0.1 or something. Whoops, there we go. 1, 2, 3, and just went past it there. Sometimes it just jumps past on you. $340 right on. Okay, now I'll just keep on going forward with it this way. See if it comes back down to 0 at rest. Yeah, and it comes right back down to 0 at rest. So that explains that. I was concerned that I had a bad cam, but I only had a bad Mr. Adjustment. Hey, there you go. Okay. Yeah, so there, the cam seems to lift 0.340 inches. And the book says, I don't know if you can read that in the book there, does that? It says 0.2764 inches. But, I don't know. I'm going to just check it with I'll check it on the 7.02 millimeters. I'm not sure what numbers that thing's reading there, whether it's millimeters or thousandths of an inch, or I'll figure it out. Yeah, so I did some more checking. So it's supposed to be, like the factory says, 0.2764 or 7.02 millimeters. But what it actually lifts is 8.6 millimeters, give or take a bit. So does that mean that somebody over the years has put a high lift cam in this thing for performance? I don't know. But that's what it is. They're all fairly consistent, and I think any of the error there is my error in adjusting them. So adjusting the valves. So I'm happy with that. They're all the same, so that's the way it is. It was running before with that cam in it, so it will certainly run again with that cam in it. Now, next. What's next on my list? Wait a minute till I think about it. Yeah, there you go. That's the Hillman out there underneath that thing, but I wonder if that looks like where the design for the Tesla truck came from right there. Could be that's a Tesla truck, right? Now, how about the cylinder head? Is it warped or is it straight? We'll just check. I'll show you here. Now, this thing here, I've got this straight edge. It's been around a while, so we'll stick it on here, see what happens. You can see a bit of light underneath there in the middle, but if you turn it over, you see just as much light. Yeah, so maybe it's straight. Just see, it won't go underneath there. It will there, but just it's a tight fit underneath there. So I'm good there. I'm happy with that. That's close enough. Same thing here. Anything that fits underneath, it'll barely touch. Yeah, so I think it's okay with that straight edge. I've got a new straight edge here, brand new, but it doesn't go as far, right? But with this straight edge, you can't even see light underneath it anywhere. From there, go to the end, can't see light underneath anywhere there. You can see a little tiny bit of light underneath right here, but that won't fit, the feeler won't fit underneath it. That looks good. Can't see any light there. Then if you go down to this end of it, can't see any light. Can't see any light anywhere there. Can't see any light there. Can't see any light there. Can't see any light there. So I'm pretty sure, I'm happy that that's fairly straight. This feeler gauge here is, what is it? 0.13 millimeters. Now it asked for 0.105 or something like that for the thing, but this is the closest I have to it. Anyway, that's suits me. I think we're happy with that being reasonably flat. So I think I'm done with the head for now, right? Good. Now I'll just let the head sit there until needed, right? Next to be this thing, crankshaft goes back in. And I'll have to open up this and just see if I got the right parts, eh? Okay, hang on. Yeah, a bunch of parts. These are the big end bearings for the, whatever you call those things, pistons. These are the rings, and I got new motor mounts. So, anyway, then over here, these are the main bearings. That's the one that's with the thrust washer built into it, like it's a thrust washer built into that, and it sits right in there like that. Then the other bearing, like you can see the witness mark where it was before, they sit like that. So oil goes into there, around and around, and it has 4 loops to get into the main bearing. So that's good. That's lots of oil allowed to get in. So now what I'll do, I'll put the bottom bearings in right down here. Then I'll bring over the crankshaft and just lay it in there and see what it looks like. How's that? Yeah, there's that one in, that one in. I'll get another one. Then the little notch is right here. I'll try not to touch the bearing itself. Just on the edges here. There. That slides right in. And that little notch keeps it from spinning, what they call spinning the bearings. So I'll get the other 2 in, have to move you for that. Yeah, there now I put some of that red goop on there, and I'm going to just lay the crankshaft in. Crankshafts are heavy. I'll just give it a quick wipe. I think mostly it's all right. Okay, here we go. What's going on there? That fits, that fits. What have I got going wrong? That goes to the front. That goes to there. Okay, try it once more. Oh, it's this thrust washer thing. Not wanting to go in there. Damn. Well, now I have to think about this a bit. So this thing here, this thrust washer is too tight to go in here. Am I missing something here? Is there something there that's got to come out? No. So I think I have to do a little bit of sanding on that, just to make it fit. See what I can come up with. Yeah, so flat surface sandpaper, 1000 grit sandpaper, and I sanded it down now so that it'll go on and spin, and a little bit of end play there. We'll check the end play soon. Anyway, that's one side done. Now I have to do the other one, the other half, which is over here somewhere. Where did I put it? Wonder where. Did I put it somewhere special? I guess I gotta hunt that down. Not on there, not on there, not over here. Spend an awful lot of time looking for stuff. Whoops, there it is. So now, I've got my micrometer here, so let's just measure this here and see this here. That's all my great English comes out all the time here. Let's measure this, see what I get for readings, right? So this one, .037 millimeters. Before sanding, 30.120 millimeters. What's that? 120 till, if I only had a brain, right? 0.0, so 0.7 of a 0.07 of a millimeter I took off by sanding, and this was here, this had the inside measurement of the thing. Sometimes it's difficult to, oh, you can put that like that. What a smart guy I am. That one says 30.093 millimeters. So 0.093, so that's going to leave it .0. Down to 29.991 there, so let's just do this. 30.003. And what did I say was the other one? And the outside measurement is 30.076. So 0.04 millimeters, which would translate to end play of 0.04 millimeters. And the book says crankshaft. So the end float should be 0.085 to 0.01. Oh, dear me, dear me, dear me. End float, come on. 0.085 to 0.174 millimeters. 0.085. So right now it's going to be sitting at 0.004, right? So let's get the other one ground down that far anyhow, and then we'll put it in. And if the end play is not enough, then I'll take them out and grind it again. Yeah, now I've got them both sanded down, and they slide onto the, I'll show you. One's 30.02 millimeters, the other one's 30.03. Slide, and it's got a bit of play there, back and forth, which it's supposed to have. So now I'll put it in, put them together, and then see how much end play. I have to clean them off though a bit. Yeah, there, it's in and turns. It's not very, it doesn't turn very like as easily as I thought it might. But it does turn. I'm going to put the other halves on tomorrow, and then we'll see where we go from there. I might have to take it all apart and then figure out why it's not turning so easily. But I'll put the other halves on, I'll check the end play and see if it's got end play. And then if it doesn't have end play, then I'll have to do some more sanding and get some end play on it. Okay, well that's coming tomorrow. Yeah, so how come this thing is so tight, right? Well, I have the answer for you. That's right here on the package. It says, I don't know if you can read this on the package or not. See underneath the numbers there, it says 87111. Oversized 0.025. Ordered the wrong ones. So I was on this morning and ordered the right ones. Oh well. And I ordered a carb kit for this thing here, I hope. So I may take that apart and soak it and have a look at it. Anyhow, I'll pull this out of here, take those bearings out. Too bad I went and ruined the that bearing there. Well, not really ruined, but it wouldn't have the right space on it anymore. Anyway, I'll wait for the new parts to come. I'll likely go ahead and get the pistons ringed up, put them in there. They can just hang in there for a while. That'll get them out of the way, and then I'll just set the head on it and let it sit until it's time. And I've got to finish fixing the brakes. Parts are here for that. I think, yeah, parts are here for that. So I'll put them all together and get some of this stuff out of my way. And then if I have to wait for a while, I'll fix the dashboard on the Porsche. Yeah, so what I usually say, that's disappointing. Yes, it is disappointing. Anyway, but we'll get them cleaned out and that'll be good. Yeah, so I also did the check to see if there's any gouges in this thing here, and it's all good and flat. You can't see light underneath there anywhere. So we're good there. These ports here just go in and out of the head around the exhaust manifold. They don't, they get water from somewhere and then just circulate through, but they don't go back into there. Anyway, well, doesn't matter. So I'm going to check the valve, or not, I'm going to check the ring clearances now and make sure that we're okay with that on the new rings. Yeah, okay. Bad day in parts here today. So I ordered and received rings for these things, but the rings that I received are 50 over, so they don't fit in there. Anyway, oh well, that's life. I'm going to I've ordered some new ones, and they'll be coming along. I got to measure up the old ones and see how close they are to real, and just for fun. But new ones are going to come, and then these things here are oversized, right? 0.25 over. But now over here, let's see. Here's the rod cap bearings. What size are they? Standard, STD, standard. I don't know if you can read that or not. These cameras, they used to focus better than that. But anyway, standard size rings for that, and that's about where it stands. Another thing that I got was a couple of these 1 by 2 by 3 inch blocks, just because then you can set things up level, sort of. That has to go back into the micrometer case. Oh, okay, I'll sort of just clean up around here, and maybe I'll go back towards getting that back together, and that might round up this video. Hey, okay. Well, yeah, so where am I here now? Rings, compression ring and the second ring are supposed to be 0.3 to 0.45 millimeters, and the way it is in there is 58 millimeters, 0.58 millimeters. So that's what, can you see that little gap there? That little gap is 0.58 millimeters. Anyway, so those are a little bit worn, right? Or these are a bit worn, but these are pretty close to right. If I put a different spot, it might be different. But anyway, for now, those are beyond the limit, and new ones are coming. Yeah, so to get the ring to be flat in there, you just put the ring in and then push it down a bit with the piston, and that'll make it nice and flat. Anyway, there we go. I'll put all this stuff away and fix the brakes. Okay, back. I've got this all that stuff just back here waiting for parts. They'll show up, and then I'll put that together. Too bad I got the wrong parts, but oh well, that's what happens sometimes. This here I should just put away. Now I do have these parts here showed up, which is wheel bearings. This is the outer bearings I had. This seal I was able to get in town. This had to be ordered from away. Came from somewhere. And so now I've done just a dry fit to see if the actual bearing fits on here, right? And yes, it does. And the same with this bearing. I just did a dry fit to see if it'll fit on right here. And yes, it does. So we're good with that. Now, they can just hang for a minute or two. I have to clean this up a bit, which isn't too tough to do. I'll just clean out the rest of that grease there. Then I've got this, then I have to press in or seat these shells, bearing shells, what do you call these? Seats, bearing seats. And then I've got this fancy bearing packer. See if that'll maybe pack the bearings. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, we'll see. Okay. Well, here, I'll set you up for a second, show you what I'm doing. Oh, moving too fast, sorry. Anyhow, here, where am I? This socket here, don't even know what size it is because it's all worn off there. It'll slide, this is the old one. It'll slide right in there, and it catches the top edge. So that'll slide right in there, catch the top edge of that, push that in, no trouble. This one here, 1 1/8 half inch drive, will catch that and push it in without any trouble, and it won't get caught. It'll fit inside the inside the axle, or whatever you call that. Okay, so I'll get these things pressed in. I'll just show you how. Yeah, that's looking somewhere right, eh? Okay, so now this is in there. The shell is in there. This goes next. That on it, keep it flat. Then this is set up in there. Keep it centered, maybe. Okay, here it comes. Give it a minute. Winding it down. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now other side. Be right back. See if we're lucky this side. Wonder why it always just flips on sideways as soon as you're ready for it, eh? Anyway, get everything lined up just right. Oh, it's not straight. Yeah. Oh dear, oh dear. Hang on. Nope. Okay, gotta come back out. Try again, see if it's straight enough. There, it straightened itself out there. That's in. There you go. Now here's this bearing packer thing. You see those holes there? Well, they're supposed to be able to get grease through those holes and then go up and through the bearing. Maybe, do I have it upside down and backwards? I don't know. I'll turn it around the other way and see if it looks any better. Hang on. Yeah, I think that's the way it should be there. You can see it can get up into the holes there, maybe. Hang on, I'll just sort that out a bit. It's got to be in the middle. Yeah, look at that. It does seem to work. There's supposed to be able to get grease coming through the bits there. Come through some of it. We'll just see how you're going to get messy here anyhow. Hang on, I've got to put it this way. I think that'll be fine. Now, yeah, I'm not too greasy. Put you over here. Gonna move it and put it on here now. Wonder where I can put you where you can see this. Yeah, you can maybe see that. So now, This hub goes on here, right? Like that. That goes on there like that. Now I need my washer and other thing. All right, so now where am I? Right here. I got this bit here, which is the washer thing. And it goes like this way. Yeah, that's right. And I've got the nut with the castle nut on it. It goes on here. Now I have to tighten them up. So what I do is I tighten it down tight, so that's hard to move. Do it again, that's hard to move, then back it off that much. You're supposed to back it off right about there. Hang on, I'll bring it over here. So you see that washer underneath there, you're supposed to back it off until that sort of, see how that just moves there? So it's tight there, and then back it off just so that washer will move back and forth a bit. And that's the way it should be. Okay, now I'll get a cotter key for that and find a, and that'll be good. Now I'll see if I can get the brakes mounted on there, right? Calipers are all set to go from before. Oh. So this should just go on here like so. And it does. Need a couple of bolts. 2 big bolts go in the back here. $17 or $19 or something, then you get torqued to something or other, which I will find out. Let me find the right wrench and we'll get that on there. Yeah, you're liable to have my big head in the way here for half of this, but those 2 bolts there, 19 millimeters. Go the right way. They're in. Now, I have to put the little pipes that go up here. I think they go on here first, like, can you see that thing there? I don't know if you can see up there, can you? Go on like that there. One of them's longer than the other, I guess. Wonder which one I should put on first. Does it matter? There, just finger tight everything there. Now I wonder if you can see that. Can you see any of that? Not a bit, hey? Hang on, I'll just... So, up here is where these things come out like that. And they go into the flexi pipes, which are over here. Got two flexi pipes. So I'll put them in, then I'll tighten it all up right now. Now I'll just put you down for a minute. Yeah, there now, that's on. So there's those two lines go in right here and they tighten up. Oh, where, can you see that? Back there, right back there. And then they tighten into there. They go up and across and hook on here. And then they go into flexi lines that go up into there later. But I just got them taped off. So this turns nice, feels good, and that's front end complete. Now I'll have to do the same to the other side, but you don't need to see all that. And if there's something exciting, I'll show you. But I think that's about enough for this video anyhow. We're got it filled up. So what did we do? We got, well, working on the motor, finding out that I had the wrong parts. Hey, that's good. And then just finish up the brake calipers and stuff like that. That looks like it's a bit bent. Maybe I'll straighten that out a bit too. No, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's how it looks. Okay, leave that be. Don't get into it. Okay, now, hope you enjoyed it all. Come on back for more. I'll hopefully get the parts for the motor. And if I don't, if I run out of things to do, if I want to do something else, there's lots to do around here. So there'll be more. See you later. Yeah, so here's the view out the kitchen window these days. That's pretty amazing. That azalea looks like it's on steroids of some sort. Makes those little blue flowers look like just little blue flowers.